Do you like to float like a butterfly and sting like a slightly smaller butterfly? Do you like to play football and hate violence? In which case, maybe you want to learn how to fisherman. Once again, this video is designed for newer or intermediate players, or maybe advanced players who want to point out how wrong I am. Guild Ball is to master as hard as a very hard thing. So it's difficult to go through all the tactics for a guild in one short video. Fishermen love to score goals and hate it when they don't, and aren't really for fighting. Well, this 6 aren't for fighting at least. Fishermen have some fighting options, but they're under the boxes. Looking at the guild here today, the 6 we're going to go through are in the Rising Tide box. We have Shark, Salt, Angel, Siren, Kraken, Greyscales. I'm not sure what that thing actually is. And here's a second Shark. That's not quite as good at scoring goals and a bit less mobile than the first one. Looking at the playbooks here, we have, as you can see, despite being a goal scoring guild, a lot of non-momentous tackles. Because if they had tackles that were momentous everywhere, they'd be a bit overpowered, to be honest. Most of their momentum gaining is really from dodges, as you can see here. They also have a fair few momentous character plays. Seduced there, of course, and Ball's Gone from Greyscales. They, generally speaking, though, will get most of their momentum from dodging. They have a few decent counterattacks there, although Angel has 1-inch melee and Siren has quite low attack value. Kraken has a decent 2-inch push. Greyscales has a decent 2-inch dodge, but generally speaking, they have relatively low survivability and their counterattacks aren't amazing. So generally, it's a race against time to win before you are killed and taken away. First of all, it's Shark. Shark is the prime goal scorer in the team. He is very fast and carrying all terrain, giving him a tasty 23-inch goal threat. I mean, he can score a goal first turn. Now, if you want to wear, first of all, if you want to wear, here's the Guild Ball pitch. Hopefully you've seen it before. If not, don't know why you're here. Maybe you want to learn the game. Maybe you want to learn the game by watching the videos, in which case, thanks. But I'd also recommend reading the rule book as well. Now, the distance between your deployment zone and the goal is 20 inches. Now, I know before those who love triangles mention it to me, that's only a straight line. And of course, it's longer in a non-straight line because that's literally maths. But Shark has got the goal threat to score a goal pretty easily from the start of the game, pretty much from wherever he is. To add to that, he has quick foot. Now, it is multiple turn, so he could give it to himself and somebody else, depending upon where he starts the turn and whether he wants to score a goal or not. So he can certainly increase the output of his team. Tidal Surge is a great 4-inch dodge. It's very expensive. It's obviously more expensive than Where to Go, which costs 1. He can do it to his own team to make them more of a threat for further goals in the turn. He can buy it to force a model to dodge towards him. 3 cost makes it fairly reliable. He could hit it off the playbook here, but it's not particularly likely. You're looking at to hit sort of the 6 or maybe 7 hits with armor against defense 4. It's not really going to happen unless they really are quite low defense. Stagger can help with that, of course, but even then, if you bonus time it against defense 3, say they're defense 4 down to 3 with stagger, you're still looking at it ain't going to happen that often. Quarter in the net is a horrible character play to get hit by. So what you might find with Shark is he might go in, score a goal turn 1, score another goal turn 2, and then legendary, and really web up the entire enemy team, making them less able to get the ball back after kickoff, making them less able to dodge out of the way of your other goal threats to try and score those 3 goals quickly. Any fisherman player worth his salt, who will come to in a minute, will tell you that scoring the first 2 goals isn't hard. Scoring the 3rd goal is the real issue, because at that point your opponent will do practically anything to prevent that 3rd goal, because they'll lose the game, and people tend to not like losing games. Salt. Salt, with his Ventus Dodge and his Where to Go, makes him quite a good cold threat for a mascot. Same as Inches, which is not to be sniffed at. Now, if he charges in, making him have tack 6, he's got, not an awful chance of getting a wrap there. You're looking at 3 hits, 65% chance to get a wrap. Really, you can do a Where to Go and a tackle, which is hilarious for getting the ball to someone and they're dodging away. Now, if he goes into someone and he bonus times it and they defend a stance because they've got the ball and they don't want the indignity of having a goal scored against them by a little, what is it? Ferret? Otter. It's an otter. That's right. Otter. Sorry. Well, your time with the podcast here. He's still got a 42% chance of getting it in with a wrap. Now, I wouldn't say you'd risk your life on that percentage chance, but it's good for a threat, and it's certainly going to help tilt your opponent. As I mentioned to you before, with his goal threat there, 3-4 kick, target number 1 less for the goal because of Scores of Fun. That goal's going to happen. Hell, you could even try a snapshot with him. Still quite likely to happen as well. Now, Love Creature, once again, don't forget it. Attack buff is a great benefit. Remember, it is other friendly models, so Salt can't get the attack buff himself because apparently he doesn't love himself, which is, quite sad, really. But there we go. One day, Salt, your real true worth. That's right. The answer was Angel. Angel is a striker in a team of strikers with a fairly mopey 1-inch melee, which isn't particularly common in fish, but tackle dodge does make that much better. With Super Shot there, she has a nice 20-inch goal threat, and more importantly there really, that 10-inch kick can come into its own later on in the turn. With 5-dash kick, the chance of scoring goal is super high. Of course, you'll fail them occasionally, but there we go. Now, with her new kit, with Untouchable, also with her now 5-10 kick from Super Shot, it means she has an 81% chance of getting in a snapshot. That's quite important with Angel because of her kit she has, including Untouchable. So she can score a goal at the beginning of a turn and then use Untouchable to get nimble to go up to defense 6, which can make Angel quite a bit of a turret there. So you can score a goal with her and then have her hanging within 10 of the goal, which is still quite far out really, and then make it, of course, much more likely for her to score a goal later on. If anything else, being defense 6, middle of the pitch with Super Shot up makes such a threat, it does pretty much force your opponent to deal with her. That's right, Poppickers, the answer was Kraken. Kraken is notable because of that lovely knockdown on 1 hit. Now with Gravity Well and Tough Hide, he's kind of a bit like Brick really, except unlike Brick, he has a 2-inch melee. Now with Protective Instinct and Drag, he is able to force people to deal with him rather than deal with the strikers who are trying to score goals. I wouldn't say Kraken's ever going to kill anyone. I mean, he can, but I wouldn't say it's particularly likely to happen, especially with his influence cap of 3. He's going to drag people into the middle of the pitch, knock them down, control them, and force them to spend resources to deal with him, whilst you've got your strikers and wingers on the outside getting balls towards your goal threats. Drag is an interesting one. He has to get 3 hits to kick off drag. So if he knocks someone down, let's again go for the average sort of 4-1 player, knocks them down, which is quite easy to do, making them defense 3. He has to get 4 hits to hit that drag. Bonus timing it, because that drag pretty likely to happen. So knocking someone down, then hitting them with a bonus time for a drag, and pulling in another opponent and then knocking them down really can help gum up the middle of the pitch. You're correct, it's Siren. If you've got that right, give yourself a pat on the back. Have we done it? Good. Siren. She is fragile, defense 5, but with 10 health is nothing. She will die as soon as you look at her. In fact, she's died twice looking at her on the screen just now. She is great at stopping the ball being killed, and by being killed, I mean the ball being kept somewhere away from your strikers. Lure will pull someone towards her, meaning you can tackle them more easily now. It's worth mentioning here that that makes them a friendly model for the activation. So if you bring a model towards you with Lure, it means your opponent can do parting blows on them. That means if the person's carrying the ball, they can get tackled by their own friends, or they get knocked down. So picking a target is fairly important. But then again, making one of your opponent's models get knocked down can be good in itself. Now, with Protected and the fact you can lure people towards Kraken here, makes them best friends. Making Siren 5-1 is certainly, well, a real pig of a stat line to deal with, even with her low health. Now, Seduced, which you can hit off her playbook, is really a bit of kit that she uses an awful lot. It's expensive to use, costs 3 or the playbook to pull it off, but as it says on the description, it forces a pass. Passing it to one of your players to score a goal, how passing it to Angel for snapshot would be hilarious, and can help you get that ball back after goal to score that third goal to win the game. But as the melee develops and your opponent gets more and more frantic and trying to hide the ball away, Siren can be phenomenal. Siren can be really good at helping you get the ball back for that final goal. As soon as she charges in here to try and hit that second hit on a playbook, she's looking at 3 hits against average of 4-1, 85% chance. It's pretty easy to pull off. Assuming the defensive stance, it's not a bad odds of pulling that 2 hits off. I did put bonus time in, but with 9 dice again, it's going to get more likely to happen. So getting that Seduced off, it can be fairly expensive, but I think getting on the charge is probably more easy than buying it. It costs 1 less, gets your point of momentum as well. Often people late game might forget that Siren can do this sort of stuff. If your opponent forgets about it, it's good for you, but you will die again to a stiff breeze. Yes, it's Greyscales. Greyscales is another fragile character, defense 4 and 13 health. Now he has got 2-inch melee and unpredictable movement, which makes him quite hard to pin down, one of the hardest models to pin down in the game. He basically can't be engaged by a 1-inch melee model unless he's used that power already. With Where to Go and his kickstat, he has a 17-inch goal threat, which is no shark, but it's still certainly respectable. I would say Greyscales does fit into the wing archetype very well, in terms of he's much better being on the sort of sides and the flanks to try and get balls in, or to capture loose balls with his Bible dodge, rather than going as your main striker. Now his tackle is on 2 hits. With attack 5, it's not particularly reliable. 50% is not great for a tackle. Even bonus time, it's not amazing. 65% to get the ball is better than nothing, but I wouldn't say he is superb at getting the ball back. Now, if you went with him and then you tried to charge in and maybe get balls gone, now balls gone, of course, why is it different to a tackle? First of all, it's momentous, and of course he hasn't got a momentous tackle. Secondly, it completely ignores close control. Close control is a whole ball ability, which of course blocks the first tackle you get hit by. Because ball's gone, it makes you lose the ball, it completely circumvents that power. Secondly, it means Greyscales can charge in, get the ball off someone, and pass it to somebody else who can maybe do a snapshot or keep the ball for later in the turn. Now, looking at the odds here that are happening, if Greyscales was to charge in, you're looking at a fairly good chance of getting balls gone. If someone uses a defensive stance, the odds drop a lot. So if you want to hit balls gone, I recommend you bonus time it. I wouldn't say it's particularly likely to happen otherwise, but it can be a good way of circumventing close control. Obviously, with his 2-inch melee, he can ignore anyone with counterattacks who have 1-inch melee, so he can be good at grabbing the ball back. But I wouldn't say he's massively reliable in doing so. He's good as a sort of secondary goal threat to grab loose balls or to grab them from players when the opponent hasn't fully protected them. So there we go. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully it's informative. If not, well, tough, really, I guess. I was going to show you the birds because they were making a lot of noise throughout the recording, but now they've gone, which is great timing. Oh, Forgot that caption there. It should go here. Whatever. See you later.